Okay, why Gen Z doesn't care about music. This is very interesting. So me, I'm just gonna say this. I'm 34. I think I'm a millennial. I don't know. Wherever I fall is where I fall. But I just am curious to see this.
Okay, so this is going to be kind of an old man yells at cloud video. I'm actually joking, but
True, I love those videos.
some people that watch this are going to think, oh, it's old man yells at cloud. Okay, I'm going to be 60 in a few days anyway, so I guess I would count as an old man. I guess you could say that I'm an old man. So I was over at my sister-in-law's this past weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and my kids were playing Mario Kart on the big TV and stuff. And so I was like, oh, let me play that. So I sit down and I start playing with Lennon, and she destroys me. Then I sit down and play it with Layla, and she destroys me on this thing. And it's not like I've never played video games before.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, Pong came out when I was in eighth grade, but in college, the student union at Ithaca College, where I went, had a video arcade up where they had ping pong tables and everything. And this is where you
Yeah, I went to a community college, and we didn't have an arcade. We didn't have a lot of things at the community college.
go. You go and you play arcade games there, and you play games like Galaga or Asteroids or Space.
Bro, the one time I tried to go out and make friends. So like if you look at me, I'm like I got like some muscle, all right? So like I go to the gym a little bit and I looked like this, but just like a little bit smaller when I went to the community college. And so I did watch a considerable amount of anime back in the day. I still do, whatever. And I saw in like a paper they were handing out, oh, anime club is doing a get together for like a weekly thing for a couple hours. Bro, I went into the anime club and I just fucking stuck out like a sore thumb. I was like, oh my God. This is what the massive, like, there were about like 10 to 15 people in there. And it was just it was a regular classroom with like desks and everything. They had a couple desks just pushed together. And it was just dudes and a couple dudes and chicks. And on the projector they pulled down, they just had like I think it was Hamtaro that they were watching, and I was just like, "Oh, is this anime club?" And they're like, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, okay. I just wanted to swing by and check it out and see what everyone's about." And I just stuck around there for about 10 minutes and I tried to chit chat with everybody. I did not realize how much I was just an outlier. Because back then I was like really tan too, and I'm not like I wasn't pale like I am now. Like, oh my God, dude, as being like some sort of like athletic dude that watches anime and shit, trying to get along with like other anime bros, I was just like trying to figure out what our similarities and shit were besides anime. I was like, oh shit, I got an emergency call. I gotta go, guys. Thank you. Anyway, I wish the best of luck to you. And I was like, oh, thank God. Like, I think I was sweating when I was in there because I realized how I was like, is this the audience that this is? I'm like, oh God, I gotta get out of here. But yeah, that was one of my experiences in community college.
Space Invaders. And then when I was in grad school, there was a laundromat down the street from me, and there was a game called Gunsmoke that I would play every day, go down with my friends. My friend
Mm-hmm.
Iden and I would go down and play against each other. It was a shooting game, fun game. I'd like to actually have it still. And then when I graduated in and I was teaching at Ithaca College in upstate New York, every morning my buddy Paul and I would go and play this home run derby game against each other for like 2 hours. We were obsessed with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminded me as I'm playing these video games how addictive they are. Playing
yeah.
Mario Kart. I mean, they're incredible.
Oh yeah, bro. Video games nowadays are so addictive. It's a combination of so many things. It's colors, animations, sounds, or like ambient sounds and music, and it's just everything. It's sights and sounds. You know, you can't really trigger like a tactile thing or like a smell thing. I mean, I guess you kind of can with like the vibration and shit with the controllers and whatnot, but you know, whatever.
addictive. I was talking to Billy about this. He's like, "Didn't you like the music?" I said, "What music?" He said, "You didn't hear the music in this?" I was like, "I didn't notice the music. I was focused so on the game. I was just
the games are very like sight heavy on what's going on.
trying to win. I wasn't thinking about the music, and I was like, man, this is so addictive."
Mm-hmm.
And I realized this is why kids that I meet, for most of them, are just not interested in music. They like video games. You know,
Yeah. I would say trying to get a kid to pick up an instrument versus playing a video game, it's so much harder to get a kid to play an instrument because, I mean, I didn't really realize this until I started playing Kovacs. It's like an aim trainer. You know, with like a mouse, you just click dots and cylinders and all that shit. I didn't realize how hard it was and how much grinding and practice that you needed to engage with to become at least decent at clicking dots and cylinders, all right? And then I think back and then I can apply that to instruments. Yes, you know, there's like a skill progression, but like whenever you think about a hobby, you think about just something that you like enjoy doing. There's some sort of pleasure derived out of it. And when you want to compare like a video game to an instrument, the dopamine you get from a video game is so much higher than an instrument. All that dopamine stuff you get from an instrument, it's probably like a lot in the beginning, and then it kind of tapers off a little bit and it gets like a little bit less and less. Like the better you get, you're just more comfortable at a higher skill. But in order to get like more skillful and better at an instrument, you have to really grind and remove your emotion from doing the thing. You know, you're just simply doing the thing, practicing the instrument over and over and over again. You're just going drill after drill. But yeah, trying to get a little kid to play an instrument versus a video game, it's like, which would you rather have? A bowl of sugar or a cup of water? If I'm a little kid, I'm going with the bowl of sugar, okay?
when I was growing up, the way that we, you know, our coming of age thing was buying records that you know, we would save our money for and spend whatever, $15 to buy a record. And you can only buy a certain amount of records. And you would listen to these records all the way through. They're the things that you shared with your friends. You'd hang out and go over to your friend's house. You'd sit around in their basement and listen to records and talk and do things. And you develop all these memories that were associated with these songs at the time that you grew up with. And it was different music.
I mean, honestly, I still got memories that I can associate with songs. Like a ton. I'd have to like go back and listen to like some random song and I can 100% pick out some event that was happening during that song.
Than your parents grew up with, right? This was our music. It wasn't our parents' music. But nowadays, kids, when they grew up, the Gen Z kids, they grew up with the internet, with Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
iPhones started in 2007. When I talk about Gen Z, we're talking about basically 1995 to, let's say, 2012. They have only known a world of the internet, of gaming, of Wi-Fi, of interacting with things while they're playing video games. They're on Discord and they're talking to their friends and they're all playing together.
Well, kudos to this guy for knowing what Discord is. God dang, hat off, my dude.
Many times they're playing by themselves but interacting with their friends at the same time, or they're hanging out with their things like we were doing this weekend, where you have your controllers and you're playing together and you're screaming and you're trying your hardest and you're freaking out. So I can understand why music doesn't play a role in kids' lives because of the addictive nature of these video games, right? It's really apparent to me.
Well, if it's really different because, you know, if you're a parent and you want your kid to get good at an instrument for whatever reason, you know, and you want your kid to focus, then you can't really be doing anything else. I mean, you kind of can once you get into like, I would say, I don't know, that 50th percentile range where you're just like chilling and cruising. You're obviously better than like the masses of people that can't even play instruments. And then you're like about average on par with everybody else that plays like that instruments, like let's say piano or something, where you can like play some shit and still talk and do things that, you know, when you reach that. But I would say up until that point, you got to like really focus. And if you want to get better, you have to focus even harder. But depending on the game that you're playing, You can just play your whatever casual game, have your boys in Discord, and then you're just chilling.
Because I have done it myself, and I know that music doesn't even occur to me when I'm playing these things. It's a single focus
Yeah.
on the stuff. It's not like I don't understand what it's like to play video games. But the thing that's interesting is that the kids now, they don't want to emulate musicians like I wanted to. I learned to play the guitar. Everyone I knew, it didn't matter if they were musicians or not.
Oh no, they want to emulate people, just not the people that you're thinking of. They want to emulate their favorite influencer. They want to emulate Ninja. They want to emulate Shroud. They want to emulate XQC or whoever, Dr. Disrespect. So like big name streamers. One of the most popular jobs that kids want to do is they don't want a real job. They want to be an influencer. All right? Look at me. I'm sitting over here reacting to a video. I want to be a big influencer too. I'm 34.
Loved music. Jocks, freaks, whoever they were. Musicians, everybody liked music. They just did. I didn't know one person growing up that didn't like music. But most of the kids that I meet today, and I meet kids, I go to my kids' schools, I talk to classes, things like that. I interact with teenagers all the time. And the one thing that's really common is that many of them are not engaged at all with music. They just don't care about it. Just doesn't occupy any part of their day because it's not interesting enough. There's no visual.
Yeah, there's not a lot of visual things going on. There's not a lot of dopamine hits going on. Like the dopamine comes later. Like I could say from playing Kovacs and aim trainers, that's a game where, you're just clicking dots and cylinders trying to get better. But here, I'm going to, let's see. Let's see. What do I whip out? Season 3, season 4. Let's go season 4. Okay. When I'm playing Kovacs, I am simply trying to just get better. All right. These are all like ranks or whatever. And every time I hit a rank, I get a dopamine hit. But up until that point, it's like 99% grind, focus, emotionless. And then when I hit the score, I'm just like, oh, yes, I fucking did it, dude, or whatever. Much the same way, I would probably guess that you can kind of derive something like that from like hitting a certain, I don't know, practice thing or a drill for an instrument.
There's no reward of winning, of shooting things, of doing whatever they're doing. It's just boring to them, right?
Yeah.
And the people that they want to emulate are other gamers.
Yeah.
All the different gaming channels that they watch people play video games.
Mm-hmm.
You know who I'm talking. I mean, even the biggest YouTubers, PewDiePie started out as a gamer, still plays games.
Yeah, PewDiePie is a dad now.
Mr. Beast, he started out as a gamer. So many huge channels on YouTube are associated with video gaming.
Yep.
Then you have things like Twitch that people sit around and watch.
Oh, you know about
Twitch live streams.
Yeah.
Some Twitch streamers like XQC will stream for 8 hours. People watch.
Yeah. And that's a light day for X. All right? That's a light day. Very light.
Video gaming for 8 hours. They're not even playing in. Some of these video games have music in them, but do the kids really pay attention to music? Does it make them go out and seek out music afterwards? No. I don't think so. Not many of them.
And also, if you want to try to incentivize kids from the perspective of, oh, once you get really good at playing music, then you can make some sort of money, doing like a YouTube channel, like where you like remix songs, or maybe try to go out for like an orchestral thing or whatever, or maybe you make a song for like a movie or a game or something like that. Even that is super competitive. Even that is super competitive.
You'll find people that will watch this video, other YouTubers, and they'll probably say, oh, Rick Beato doesn't get it because young kids are into music. It's like, I have young kids.
Yeah.
I talk to young kids all the time. I'm not out of touch with what kids are interested in. I'm very, very aware of it. And the biggest demographic on my channel is 25 to 34. Are those kids? No. But I have kids that work.
Oh, he just called me a kid.
Work for me, like Billy. Billy is 20. How old are you, Billy?
26.
26. Okay. Billy's a Gen Zer. I think barely. So I ask Billy all the time. I talk to Billy's friends. I talk to Rhett's friends. I talk to people in their 20s and their early 20s and their teens constantly. By the way, before I forget, because I forgot to do it, my call to action, hit the subscribe button on here. I never...
You got to remind yourself to do the call to action thing. Yep. Hit the subscribe button, dude.
bring this up. This is my third video I've done this.
What a goat.
Because I'm trying to get to 3 million, but I'd like to get to 5 million.
Dang.
Trying to get some big interviews with people. And unfortunately, publicists that work for some of these famous people that are older, they only know numbers. They only, you only have 2.9 million subscribers. Oh, well, call us when you get to 6 million or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't even have to ring the bell. Forget the bell. Just hit the subscribe button.
Yeah.
Just the red thing right now. Do it. Okay.
Okay, wait. There you go.
So, what does this mean, though, that kids emulate gamers? They want to be YouTubers, or they want to live vicariously by following people that play games. They don't even want to do that. I'm not sure what it means for society. But when I
mean, because when I was a little kid, I would go outside and ride my bike to my friend's house, and we all liked playing like random ass sports and frisbee, like football. Football, frisbee, baseball, some Nerf thing or whatever. You remember that football, that plastic football where you put water balloons in it, and then it's like in the center of it is like a string, like 2 strings, and you just rip the strings apart and whip that shit to the other side. Yeah, that was pretty fun.
I think about this, it's like, okay, what was it about music that grabbed me? What was it? Well, the people that I grew up listening to wrote their own music. It wasn't written by songwriters to make money. And
we calling out the music industry for being clowns and not writing their own songs. Ooh.
Many of the songwriters, you know, I always joke about these pop songs that are written by committees of people, 9 people.
Well, that's the pop genre. To some degree, it can probably extend into other genres, but I would say it's most like obvious in the pop genre.
Whatever. A lot of these people are in their 30s, 40s, 50s that are writing, that are songwriters. And yes, some are in their 20s, but a lot of them are older. Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak are both 36 years old. They're not even Gen Zers. They're older than that. They grew up when people actually played music. The millennial people, my millennial friends, they developed their facility with it. They played video games, they did this stuff, but they also played music. They grew up before that era of this, and so they kind of incorporated these things. They learned it just like I did as a boomer. I mean, I was born in 62. I'm a boomer, okay? So I adapted with the internet. I have a YouTube channel, right? I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I deal with the internet, and I understand the internet pretty much, you know, as well as most people do.
Yeah.
Probably better than most people do.
Ooh.
I understand what kind of how these things work, right? I make videos for a living. Why doesn't music appeal to kids?
Music doesn't appeal, or at least the act of creating music doesn't appeal to kids. Probably because it probably takes too long to reach some sort of level of skill to create anything unique. I mean, even now, on this day, every song that has been written, you can probably cherry pick parts out of it and put them into like others, or you can rip songs out or like pieces of other songs and probably like be like, oh, that's similar to this song. That song from that that little bit is similar in this part. That little bit is similar to this part. Like every like rhythm for a song that has ever been written has been written already. Maybe not in like every tone or I don't know, like was it like major, minor, or whatever? Like everything that has been done has already been done, and it's insanely hard to innovate in that sense. I do see a lot of good songs. Like if you're gonna try to do something with like music, I'm just guessing that you're probably. I mean, one thing that I enjoy is like when songs get remixed into like other genres. Like you take some old ass song or whatever, and you just modernize it in like whatever other genre. Like take a hip hop song, make it trap, make it dubstep, make it metal, make it, or like take a metal song and make it hip hop, make it pop, make it this or jazz or whatever. I really enjoy that aspect of music. Trying to come up with something unique is insanely hard.
Is really the question. What is it about it that makes it? And I'm not saying all kids, but a lot of kids. What is it about it? Is it just that video games that have this visual element to them that stimulates their brains, that they get this dopamine rush from doing these things or playing this stuff, from trying to get better at this, that frankly music doesn't have, unless of course you're playing it. And one of the things that kids, they just don't want to take the time to learn to play these instruments. Now, that being said, some of the best players are alive today, young kids. But a lot of them develop their playing skills because of things like YouTube, because of... And one of the things that kids, they just don't want to take the time to learn to play these instruments. Now, that being said, some of the best players are alive today, young kids.
Okay. So when you say young kids, in my head, I'm thinking like cap out at 18 is like a young kid, and maybe like 30, like you would still say someone as a kid in their 30s or whatever. So from like 19 to 30, you're a kid in your own words, and like a young kid is like anywhere from like, I don't know, 1 to 18 when they can first start picking up an instrument somewhere in there. When you say a young kid, like some of the best instrument players are young kids, that's kind of implying that the kid was born with some level of significant talent that they didn't earn themselves, and trying to sell that to a person where you take like a hobby such as instruments in music, and the thing that comes along with that is like a lot of hard work and grinding and putting time in. When you say some of the best like instrument players or musicians are young kids, that kind of seems like you're putting like these like high talent, maybe these high talent kids that didn't put a lot of work in. They're just born this way, simply born this way. That's not really attractive to a normal person. That I would say, like, most people suck at adapting and learning new skills, and like there are some people that like will put the time and effort in to reach like some level, and I would say it's more attractive to someone to sell them on the fact that, hey, if you put the time and effort in, you can get this good, versus it doesn't matter. It only matters from the point of like birth and whether or not you got the talent, the God-given talent. So from that aspect, it kind of sucks, and it's a hard sell to kids. But even then, I could say, well, you know, you'll never know until you try. But I would say it's more attractive to say, the more work and effort you put in, the more you'll get out of it. That's more attractive, or at least to me.
But a lot of them develop their playing skills because of things like YouTube, because of tutorials.
Yeah.
This is the tutorial generation.
And also, it's kind of like this weird thing that all the information is out there, and it's up to you to whether or not you utilize it. And if you're trying to get somebody to like work on a thing in their life, they know in some way, shape, or form that the answer is out there on the internet. It's somewhere. It's on a YouTube video. It's on ChatGPT or whatever. It's somewhere out there. And the fact that somebody can have a fucked up aspect of their life that they don't want to fix, but they know it's out there, it can kind of lead someone to think that they're like inadequate in some way, that the information is there, but I'm just not utilizing it in some way.
But they don't have to really have a good ear. All they have to do is be able to watch people play stuff, and they can do it. But if you gave them an ear,
that's few and far between.
Training quiz, probably a lot of them wouldn't do that well on it.
Yeah.
They're great at figuring out stuff where they're taught things by rote, or they can slow it down with every aid in the world to learn how to play things better. They've got them all. They play with their drum machines. They do all this stuff. They have very little interactive experience, though, playing with other musicians live. But they develop these skills as super virtuosos. They're bass players, they're guitar players, they're keyboardists, everything. And anything they want to learn is on YouTube for free. right? I put out videos like that myself. I just did a video on a Larry Carlton and Jimi Hendrix thing, but I've got plenty of things to teach people how to play. My channel was built around that. Not how to play, but also the theory behind it.
Nice.
So I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. Am I just the old man yelling at clouds? I mean, I'm not really yelling. I'm saying that I experienced this
talking.
myself. Yeah. The addictive nature of video games. I just played this past weekend bunch of games. It was hard to get off the thing. It was hard to say, okay,
and I would say also probably going to concerts is another big attractor and influencer. You know, why would I go to a concert and pay like a ridiculous price to go see some big name band or orchestra or whatever music thing for like, I don't know how much a ticket is. I've never been to it, like an actual concert. Was it like $50, $100 or so on and so forth, when I can just stay home on my computer, on my tablet, on my TV, and just play the video game that I paid like $50, $60 for, or maybe the game's like for free, like a free live service game, and just do that. The barrier to entry is lower to being influenced by games than it is to being influenced by some band.
this is the last round.
Like, especially as a kid. Because as a kid, like if you're trying to go to some concert and be influenced by that, you need to get your parents to go do the thing. Maybe your parents are fucking crazy and they're like super Christians, and they're like anti-satanic, like metal and wizardry is still satanic, and they're not going to allow you to go to the Metallica concert, but you really like Metallica or some shit like that. You know, that's just another barrier to entry.
Round that we're going to play, even though my girls were killing me every time, let alone Dylan. You know, I didn't want to play him, although I think that they're just as good as he is. I mean, Layla was crushing me at this stuff. And they're just laughing, and I just can't get the things moving in the right direction. The car's going off here, it's going off there, it's going there.
Yeah, but then when they want to pick up and play piano, you can just school them on piano. So what's up?
I didn't know how to do it. Love to know your thoughts. This is something that I think about every single day, and I've been thinking about it for the last couple of years. I just really don't make a video. I haven't made a video on this particular topic. Love to know what you guys think.
No, I think it was
Leave
pretty
a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.
No, I liked it.
Yeah, okay, so...
Okay, wait. Go back.
Okay, so this...
Stop. Okay, good video. Loved it. This is actually a really good question. It's not like... Because when I first saw the title, I was like, what? I'm fucking a millennial and I care about music. Anytime I go to the gym, I cannot really go to the gym without music. I love music. I like listening to music when I'm in my car, when I'm going to the gym, or just chilling out. Like, I still give a shit about music, but as far as when it comes to like trying to learn an instrument, I'm not really too interested. Even if there are like subsequent transitionary skills that you can gain from learning an instrument, like mental, like toughness and like determination and passion and like discipline and all that stuff, along with like finger dexterity when it comes to like MK gaming and whatnot. It's like, yeah, there's a ton of great things that you could like obtain from like picking up an instrument. I'm still just like, eh. But I mean, it's still a good question, and I thought it was a very interesting thought. But I'm interested in seeing what everybody else thinks. This is my first time seeing Rick Beto, is it? Yeah, that's my first time seeing it. But yeah, that's a great video, good question, good thought. And yeah, I'm just interested to see what everybody else thinks. I'll catch you guys later on the next one. Peace.